side of the matchup, just tanks it, just shrugs it off, says this is life, and moves it on, and was the better for it. And they took away some other picks from the side of AL with the Nefiri and things like this, but I don't think it's going to matter all too much. AL, their pools just go so deep. Their practice is just so profound. They're so ready, and they get... Oh no, man. I really got to go on a tangent here. Okay, so I've had to be a mid lane coach, right? And I'm training my mid lane counterpart, which is the Wu Samakin, and he picks Cassiopeia, man. And the way this champion just dominates the early lane phase with those Cassiopeia Qs, man, it's not like you just get hit by one and it's 100 damage and it's chill. It's not chill. It's really not. Cassio comes in with the Twin Fangs. You just get deleted. You get Miasma with combinations like the Vi, Petrifying Gaze as well. This champion with the Deathfire Touch, with all the buffs it had been seeing in the prior patches, is so strong. We see the Victor being taken into it, and maybe the Trundle Pillar can provide some options as well. But Cassio, in today's day and age, Mazel, this champion is Z tier, so look out for Shanks on his signature Cassio.
And now you have Tarzan and Kael, the leading guys on this AL team for engagements, on a Vi and a Camille duo. That is so hard to get away from, so hard to get into these fights when they're both threatening angles, and also the lockdown that comes with it to really set up the Cassio. I do like the Rel here as a bit of peel for LGD.
I will say, it feels a bit bad as the LG to not be able to pick Shen. Shen is so nice into the Camille. It is so nice into the Vi. It basically counters the exact idea AL wants to go for with all of this dive. But now that that's not available, they go for more offense themselves. They match the Camille's engaged potential with the Rels of their own. Now they're looking for this team fight look, imagining something with a Magnet Storm and an Arcane Storm. That can be a bit of a 5v5 play. But then for the side of AL, you want more dive. I could see that it's Shanks, the signature Cassio. Why not look for maybe Kaisa for Hope? Or Ziggs is still open. You can throw that over the top as well with a dive comp like this. So I feel like you low-key want to ban or pick the Syndra as well. I know Victor's already showing, but you're often flexing these mages, potentially the Victor on the side of LGD. I don't really know about the depths of these pools. I know Shaoye is the Draven main, but that could be something. Is Syndra still being up and available? And same with the Ziggs.
I think Ziggs being up is a big thing for me here in this draft, as it does no longer have that availability. It will be banned away as the final ban by LGD. The final ban for AL is what we're still waiting on. Obviously, still counter pick for LGD as well.
They first go off with the Jace ban. That's a strong blind pick now that Vayne is out. Now that Olaf is out, that makes perfect sense to ban that one away. I really am curious if this Victor is a flex. I'm not so sure. I feel like it's probably just Tangyuan says, okay, fine, leave Shanks' Cassio open this draft. My idea is I'm playing Victor. This matchup is theoretically rather Victor favored. I want this. That's probably the whole idea of what's unfolding here, and we're just seeing what remains. Corki being pretty strong this patch. I like the hover. It doesn't really seem like any team would ever take Nami away. So that's pretty much going to round out your comp. Very likely going to be a Nami R5 for Crisp. Let's see if IL goes for the dive. Like I mentioned, if you can't get the Ziggs, you can still get the Kaisa.
I feel like the Corki is a little tough into the Camille Vi, but being able to get that long distance damage, but as well as the Gatling gun shred will be extremely important for LGD. The Jhin comes through on 4th pick for AL, rightly so. And I actually do really like the Jhin of this comp. I was going to talk about it a little bit earlier, but we got started talking about other things, and I think it provides a lot of the setup, maybe not necessarily the damage profile, but a lot of the setup that the rest of the team really wants for AL. And now you have the Rumble for Breed.
I tell you, Mazel, AL's comp is one of the most threatening, well-created League of Legends 2026 team comps I have ever seen. I don't even want to play against that comp ever in my entire career, Mazel. If I ever see the enemy team have this Rumble Vi, Cassio, Jhin, Camille, I don't want to go anywhere near them with a 10-foot pole. That just sounds so scary, so intimidating. Think about how hard this is going to be for the likes of Tangyuan and Shaoye. You saw last game, the Sivir for Shaoye, he was already getting completely chopped by Tarzan. Now think about playing against this comp.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing about the whole situation is, like, You just got out of the meat grinder, and all of a sudden you hear the power switch flip back on. You just gotta walk back in, man. You just gotta go back in there. You gotta do your best. You gotta hope you take the dub and continue this series, because it's a tough road if you don't. 7 series losses in a row is what it would be if LGD lose here. And yes, it's the beginnings of the second round robin for both these two teams, but man, you are running out of time for LGD if they even want to help to be out of the play-ins conversation, because that play-ins is a do or die best of 5 between you and the top 2 teams from Group Nirvana. It is terrifying, and we got to start thinking about it. We got to start thinking what LGD can bring to the table for the rest of their group ascend time here in split number 3. But AL, they look like the team we're all scared of. They look like the team that has consistently been able to reach the top rungs. Game number 2 between AL and LGD kicks off now.
For both the teams in the hype arena, we see here the early mid-game matchup. Both supports are hovering here.
Level 1s for Camille can be so detrimental, especially to mid laners.
Look.
Kael. Ooh, going a little bit too far. He misses that one, doesn't miss anymore, and I think he's right as rain. But both supports just gonna walk their way down towards bot side. Chris was thinking about taking a little bit further engage onto Kael, but won't do so. Both junglers starting on opposite sides as well, so some differentiating focus between the two teams in the early paths.
This is just life nowadays, Mazel, in season 2026. And I told you about this Cassio, by the way. Look at this. They give it open for Shanks, and Tangyuan says, I want the Victor. Yeah, this is supposed to be Victor favored. This is just what it almost always feels like. She just has so much supremacy in these lanes. I really do mean that. But look at that, how common it is. You get the supports showing up in the mid lane from level 1. I honestly kind of like it as a player myself, Mazel. I know some people are not the biggest fan of the meta where you have the roaming supports like the Camille. You pick the mages to enable it. But I think it's kind of fun and spices things up. You don't really know where they're going to be at the start. And that's what definitely happened here is Tangyuan, and his HP bar is worse for wear for it.
And I'm just going to say this 2v2. I mean, if you don't already have an engaged support in lane when things kick off, Jin can just abuse the early power he has with the extra attack damage on his shots. And it can be very brutal. And I think you're seeing that pan out the way of AL on the bot side for now, at least. With Shaoye having to be forced back for the moment. Big difference, though, there is the exhaust for Shaoye. If they decide to turn a play, it could be very powerful for them in the 2v2.
The exhaust for Shaoye, pretty interesting.
We've been seeing it a lot more. I've been really... Dude, I started seeing it in LPL, and I started taking it in my solo queue games. I'm nowhere near as good. But, man, it feels great as an ADC to just be like, no. You don't get to do damage to me.
Yeah, I found exhaust is usually pretty good on these ADs who have to get up close and personal. Like, I've seen a lot of Kaisas like to take the exhaust, or Tristanas, where they're diving right on top of your forehead. That can kind of be the quirky, except them diving onto you. Speaking of dives.
Yep, Hope doesn't have the exhaust on his side, but he does have the flash. Fancy moves here. The exhaust. Shaoye, you're tanking the turret, brother.
Huh?
Oh my god, it is a catastrophe for LGD, but because the hook shot's gonna come through, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of anyone's legend, and they might even get a topside play. No, Tarzan's just gonna go for the Krugs.
You just gotta pray for Burdol up here, man. He is the last standing hope for LGD left on the map, and if there were to be something tragic and catastrophic up there as well, we might really be concerned for the hopes for the remainder of this series, but they're gonna be okay in the rest of the map. But down there was so ugly. What happened there was that we had the exhaust from the Shaoye, but he just wasn't able to
I just don't think he realized he was tanking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know who was tanking here. It looks like they didn't.
It was Shaoye.
And he just...
Because he flashes away from the initial, and then he auto-attacks him before the combo comes through. That flash ended up being the biggest value flash Hope had.
What a big mistake there from the side of LGD. Hope's flash meant that Shaoye was so waiting too long to hit him with the quirky auto that it just meant he was the first one to hit him. And Hope able to evade those instances of damage from Heng and Crisp meant that it's going to be an AL favorite play overall, when that could have very well been the other way around.
Very tough position to be in, because this ain't like game number 1. We're not in Kansas anymore, or whatever version of Kansas China has. As AL just going to be in a little bit more of a driving position than they were in that game number 1. Gotta remember, it was LGD with about a 4,000 gold lead in that game 1 that came crumbling down from its high heights. And it feels like AL have taken that momentum into this game too.
It makes you think, if the enemy team can come back from such a deficit, why can't we as the side of LGD? Ideally, you want to be coming in with the biggest lead possible, being the underdog here and all. But here comes Shanks on the Casio. You can never underestimate the amount of damage it comes out, especially if that miasma catches you off guard.
Look at this, going for the play in the bush. He gets the beautiful pillar there, and unfortunately Hope has no escape as he doesn't have flash any longer. Heng gets the kill and a redemption for LGD on the bot side.
Heng wants this series to have some more life to it, and with that pick down here, might be able to earn themselves a bit more tempo on this map. He opts not to start the Drake just yet, sitting on the 22 stacks of the Smite, and that is probably why. If Tarzan were to able to sprint down to this Drake pit right here, which is what he's doing, he's got no vision whatsoever, he would just have the bigger Smite, level 6, he would come over here, take out Heng, take the Drake for himself as well. Actually, a really heads-up play from Heng to just base instead of starting the Drake, knowing Tarzan had that camp advantage and the bigger Smite, bigger XP lead.
That dragon still will go the way of AL. It's going to be pretty big. It's their first dragon of the series so far. Obviously only 2 games in, but still, the results-based analysis stands. And you wonder what they can do with a little bit of this pressure from the bot lane that they've had with the prio Hope has gained in the lane.
Well, based on your stats, Mazel, basically first dragon of the game has a 0% win rate. So we really do have AL facing up against the mountain here, the ascent, if you will, to prove the impossible, slaying the Hextech Dragon, which, might I add, is so glorious for this team comp they've drafted for themselves. And I can't hit it home any further than this. This is really one of the most beautiful team comps I've seen in my time, Mazel. This comp, I promise you, with even any kind of lead like this, if you 5v5 or do anything together as well at all, you pretty much just win by default. I really do think so.
Yeah. The bar of execution, very easy to reach, it feels like, for AL. A little bit fewer and a little bit harder to reach for LGD here, but that can all change at the drop of a hat. We do have about 25 seconds for the grubs to be spawning on the top side of the map. Redeploy coming out from Tarzan onto that side as well. They might just go for full neutral objective control if LGD let them have.
You can't beat them, join them, so we should best read their playbook is the side of LGD. And they know what,
they're just gonna
AL
farm
can't get
man.
what they
I can't watch.
They gotta make them get what they want. And this
I can't
is what LGD.
watch. Fools, please.
Kael's here.
Okay.
I don't know who's the predator or the prey. I think Heng could be in some danger here.
Oh, he definitely is. They saw him over there with the ward and a beautiful deadly flourish. The flash play doesn't actually come through, but the cease and desist does.
Hold up.
Those powered up gauntlets doing work, but Heng able to survive
Shanks
for a little bit longer. It's going to be the trade of the jungles, but Shanks comes over, picks up the kill, finds one there for his ADC as well, and the carries starting to get pretty fed for anyone's legend.
Shanks catches them with their eyes wide open, pops with the flash onto them, and there is no way they can retaliate from that play. That's the mid-prio. That's the Casio I've been warning you about. All these mid-laners to take as much movement speed as humanly possible, and that's why Shanks is able to get down here so quickly. Heng making the critical mistake of pathing towards that red buff area there when they didn't have the mid-prio or a good state of the bomb. But look at the petrifying gaze from Shanks here, Mazel. He is one of the best Casios in the world, and how dare they give him one of his best caps.
That play is going to be huge for them as well, as he's getting a little bit closer to that Roa. You see, though, LGD putting some bodies up here to potentially contest over the grubs. Tarzan starts it up now.
We do have Burdol up here, still not sitting on his first item, whereas Breed has been naturally farming it up. No top lane is involved just yet, sitting on the island for
The
themselves.
free grubs.
But it looks like it. Yeah, Tarzan's just going to start these up and get him.
Yo, support
Big
by the way,
chunk
support
here
by the
onto
way,
Chris
support by the way, support
as
by the
well.
way.
I thought that was a Camille from the top lane or something, Mazel. You see that kind of damage that support, by the way,
Bro,
is doing?
support's not okay right now, man.
And look at his
just
inventory,
saying,
man.
It's not okay.
He's literally just building stats, by the way. He just got 2
It's
swords
not
and 2
fair.
crystals.
It's this and it's AP supports that just get to build damage and still do as much damage as any other champion. Those are the things I hate. And
I
you
want
know,
to see how much damage he does, but I don't know if we're going to get to find out up here. Burdol is able to kind of scare them off, even though Breed does pop the equalizer. But yeah, I tell you, so the damage that this champs are dealing, this is before the Blood Song, by the way. It's just utterly incredible. You have the shield bash, you have the sudden impact, you have the hail of blades, all these Camille damages, the true damage. It's such high scalings, Mazel, and it is such high base damages as well.
yeah, about 1,000 gold lead for AL. Still, it's funny how the tables flip, right? With 1,000 gold lead for AL, it feels confident. With 4,000 gold lead for LGD, we were still wondering what was going to be happening in game number 1. But I will say, you cannot doubt LGD. They have been able to put together some fights in the early parts of the game. I want to see if they can do that with this composition, but these item spikes are coming few and far between for them comparatively to AL, who are cresting those first item spikes for a majority of the members, and especially for this next dragon fight.
And the closer I look at this scoreboard, the more I realize I'm not really liking where our gold is parked. We just have this 3-kill Trundle. All of our kills, mind you, sitting on this Triforce. Well, guess what? He's literally a lower level than the enemy jungle Tarzan on his signature vibe.
By like a full level, too.
Yeah, this is not too pretty. Yeah, that's a really good point. He's just really down on XP, so they don't really have any leads at all for themselves on the side of LGD. In fact, only Burdol's the one keeping up. Everyone else is kind of chopped. We don't have Shaoye even on his Trinity Force. We don't have this Victor anywhere near a Blackfire Torch. How about this?
The vision play. Oh,
Tarzan.
Burdol gets the information too late. Can he get away? Breathe is already heated up and is looking for the angle. Oh, the public execution does not go through. It actually hits on a Breathe. It just brings him to the side. Tarzan will claim the kill.
You see Burdol scratch his head there. Where on earth did the Tarzan vibe come from? And you can never underestimate this guy and his vision tricks and awareness on this vibe. They're even going to come up here and probably chunk or isolate this tower down here so Breed can get all the work he wants done up here. But for Burdol, you don't like to feel that way at all. You want to be able to fight back onto this rumble, but Tarzan in the right place at the right time. No ult, no flash, no nothing necessary. Burdol just goes down.
Yeah, it's been a tough series for Burdol. I know I was lauding him for the solo kills and some of the influences he was having for LGD, but it has been a tough one against Breed. Now we see the dragon started up by LGD. Tarzan moving over, though. Could be looking for the smite fight. It's a 50-50 that I don't think Heng wants. It's going to be about 1,500 on the dragon. Pillar's going to be used. They're going to burn it. They're going to get the dragon, even up the dragon stacking.
You might have gained some respect there as LGD versus AL, because typically you're not getting these Drakes with AL just looking at you menacingly. AL will almost always pounce on you and strike, so that's how you know you made a good dragon call, is if AL is ready to attack you and they don't. They decide not to move their pieces forward, not to make any offensive strikes on you. That means you must have earned yourself this dragon the hard way. And definitely this game is much more winnable than you might think. We're definitely in a position where if you just get any of these shutdowns or these kills, you're fully able to get your item spikes online and have a champion who's strong enough to participate in this game.
And I just feel like, and I know Tangyuan will finish an item sooner rather than later at some point, but it just, with the pieces he has in inventory, I really hope he finishes that item now to be on par with Shanks, because if not, that's going to feel pretty bad, as Rowe is already getting stacked up for Shanks, and he has the boots completed there too. The back actually got stopped, so Tangyuan didn't end up finishing it in the mid lane, needed to push one more wave out.
So we'll see what Tangyuan actually goes for in the build. I've actually preferred an interesting look where you go to Presence of Mind and just build straight for the Leandries, but I'm presuming we're just going to see a Blackfire Torch here if he can afford it with the gold. Let's take a look. Yep, he gets it on the Victor. That's the first spike, but he's still down 700 gold. And as you said, this stacking Roa is going to cause XP lead that's just inevitable and mounting now. Shanks really strong. Looks like he's opting immediately for the Proto Belt second on the Casio. That's what the Kindle Gem kind of gives away by now, ever since that was added into the component of the build. Tarzan.
Oh,
oh
my God, oh my God, oh my God. Tarzan, you secret Splinter Cell agent. He just absolutely duped the world champion, Crisp. Down and out goes the support of LGD, and Tarzan is on another masterclass. He's looking to redeem into that MVP from game number 1 and game number 2.
Just lurking and mastering the shadows of the fog of war is Tarzan on the buy, his signature almost pick. What can you even expect anymore? Seems like ghosts are real when you're playing against Tarzan. He is the king of the jungle.
I don't know if they can do this. Can they do this? I mean, no equalizer. Go. I mean, that's just a dry dive here. Heng takes the extra turret shot. LGD, it's falling apart every time. Why even come down to the bot lane turret? And now Shanks wants to go for a little bit more, but decides to back off, and that's another failed dive.
You should be thankful as LGD that Shanks doesn't land that Casio Q onto you, or he can chase you down and punish you even more. What a incredible counterplay from Breathe, just taking his patience and waiting and say, just dive me with no waves, see what happens. And that is what happens to them. Tarzan's chunking the mid tower as well. They're on like a triple play by now. You know, we were keeping track of, we're playing it like a sport like tennis. I'm pretty sure they've just gotten every single round their way this game is all.
So how do you get a triple-double in League?
Triple-double, you get the Herald, you spawn it in the mid lane, and you get a kill in the bot lane. They're pretty much running it on all 3 cylinders.
Oh, Burdol actually burning down. Gets down to about 300 health there. Does end up getting away for now, but you can see even with the 1 item spike, Shanks doing a lot of damage. And oh man, this is
Here
beautiful.
we go again. So Crisp exits the bush at practically the exact same time that Tarzan enters it.
Dude.
Crisp thinks this is his territory. I already been here, and guess what? Sup G, this is Tarzan on the buy. Doesn't see it coming by a mile.
That's 2 times he snuck around that barren pit on the back end, and 2 times they've come up with kills because of it. Really good capitalization from Tarzan, and again, there's a reason why we put so much prio on this guy when we talk about AL. Not only did Tabe, when he was still on AL, talk about how much of a general, how much of a leader Tarzan is, he has represented that with his play. He's consistently the MVP during their wins. He has one of the highest MVP scores of this split, and he has been on one since their fluctuation and disappointment in split number 2, and it's gonna be stolen away. No way, man. From the bush, Tarzan takes Heng even in his nightmares.
And he's just not gonna stop. He takes the red, he takes everything. Now we got all of LGD forming what seems to be a last-ditch effort in this bot side. Kael's in there.
Oh, beautiful. Onto the equalizer, too. They're burning alive. Is it going to be enough damage back, though, as here comes Burdol. He has the big shield there from the
3
TP.
left.
Shanks able to do some Twin Fangs damage here. Now Hope takes the wrong path. Public Execution comes in, and LGD get turned on by Breathe. Breathe able to light him up, get 1 back. Burdol's still doing some work, but he's got to be really careful against Breathe. Breathe does a lot of damage. He's about to get head up. Hope just takes down Tangyuan. I don't know how that happened, but I'd love to see a replay.
That was just a fight on multiple fronts there. We got Hope and Tangyuan just battling it out, high noon style in the mid lane. Meanwhile, by the Raptor pit, I can't even remember what Burdol is just landing some public execution onto practically all the remaining members of AL after Tarzan just got deleted off of the second instance of this fight. But it starts with this first half where Kael jumps right into the backline and immediately disrupts everybody just by causing so much of a engage, and the rest of it's just a foregone conclusion.
A very sticky situation to be in for AL. They get out a little bit better than we think maybe they should have. Tangyuan just gets outplayed by Hope. Oh my god. Oh. Put that in the Jin highlight reel. As now we're going to see the Dragon 50-50 here. Kael trying to go in there. Dragon gets secured by LGD. Beautifully done. Tarzan out by himself. AL a little bit split in this fight now. Breed tries to get a kill back. The burn, I don't think it's enough. Shanks was looking for some more as well. Hope gets the kill there in the end onto Shaoye, but LGD get another Dragon.
LGD get another Dragon. They're just completely finding themselves ways to be in this game right now. I mean, Tangyuan is pretty proficient on the Victor. They're going to have some opportunities at curtain call.
That ain't it, bro. That ain't it.
Yeah, he doesn't really got the angle here is the hope, but he did get Tangyuan last time. So far, he's the one sitting on that last laugh. But I tell you, Shaoye just not having the best series thus far tonight. I always thought he's got quite a bit of potential. I've seen him make some crazy comebacks back in the day when he had Saucy and Climber. But take a look at this fight here. It's Kael just in the midst of everyone once again. It's just this kind of grind that's happening in the center of these fights, where if you're in that front line, you're taking so much damage and brute CC that the Camille is just a one-way ticket in these fights, and Kael doesn't mind one bit. He's such a low level at level 7. He'll just respawn anyway, and he's chilling, got the Thunder Sky already. They're doing really well for themselves on the side of AL, but they're just missing on these dragons. So if anything, this has the makings once again for a game that could go quite a distance.
And I'll just say, AL a little bit disrespectful with that fight. They were fighting on 3 different fronts, and they were committed to those fronts. Tarzan fighting on one, with Breathe fighting on the other, and the rest of the team right in the middle like a sandwich. And that can't happen if you want to face off against this LGD squad with the comp they have. They will just pick you apart. 2,000 gold up, though, is AL. They've lost a couple dragons in a row, which is a bit worrisome in some regard. LGD starting to gather some of these items, almost on 2 items now for some of their carries.
And when I look at this scoreboard, I just feel like I would much rather have the inventories that AL do. We got Shanks. Once he completes this 3rd item, he's going to be so online. Same story for Hope. Breathe already got 2 perfect items as well. How about this? Fighting onto the Burdol. Just got a Black Cleaver Eclipse. This is a pretty weak Ambessa.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The solo bolo from Tarzan. Oh, Tarzan just completely outplays Burdol and makes him look silly. Solo bolo to the GOAT jungler of anyone's legend.
Those were both pretty evenly strength champions. We just have 2 items on both of them. Even Burdol a higher level than the Tarzan, but Tarzan just one-shots him there. I don't know how Vi has all that damage in the tank like that, but Burdol's number is just completely taken by Tarzan, and that's just what Tarzan does on this kind of champion.
Please, LPL observers, give me the slow-mo directed cam replay. I want to see those ankles broken in 0.25 time. Please. They've really stopped. We used to get like every single bad play would get like a complete cinematic trailer about it from LPL observers, but they've kind of stopped doing that, which makes me sad.
They got to bring it back to the good old days. I tell you, there was some really incredible stuff this AL roster has been able to do. And if I get the chance to speak on it, I feel like one of the low-key World Finals last year, I know it wasn't the real World Finals, but it was T1 versus AL. It was a best of 5, and it was one of the craziest series I've ever seen. It's just because AL and these guys, I'm telling you, Tarzan, Shanks, Hope, Kael, they are so talented and so good. You can slot Breathe up in here as well and really make a roster like this able to do anything, do the impossible at that. So I feel like these guys are exceptionally talented, and this is just such an uphill battle for LGD. Sitting here at 1-6, playing against these guys, I mean, they're doing not so badly for themselves. We saw Tarzan just one-shot Burdol, and it's just more confidence at the end of the day. That is the theme. That is the answer for me, Mazel, today, is confidence.
Yeah.
AL just has more of it.
They do, and it's been very plain to see on the map as well. 3 items now completed for Hope, getting there for Shanks as well, and Dragon coming up in about 45 seconds. Both teams want to get some preemptive vision down here, but neither of them have been able to just yet. A little bit more sighted on AL coming into this fight.
I feel like Shanks is sitting on a decent sum of gold here. He might want to see if he can pick up his 3rd item before this fight, because he's not even much stronger than Tangyuan now. Problem is, Zonia is not really a heavy damage item. He's just got Stasis and a Blackfire Torch. It's not too much here for the side of Tangyuan. Definitely AL has better conditions here, and I almost assume and almost guarantee we're going to fight here, Mazel. No Dragon is free in the LPL.
All right, we're going to see the setup now by AL. They want to look for an angle here, try to get a catch out. There's me, the curtain call. Shaoye needs to be careful. Okay, will get the 4th shot, but it's not enough. If he would have hit the 3rd one, maybe it did. But that technically means that LGD lose out because Shaoye has to reset. He doesn't have TP. He can't get back to this one, and it'll be second dragon gotten by anyone's legend. So we go back to even on the dragon stacking, but I think this game is far from even indeed.
Now this is reminiscent of the first game when LGD had the 4K gold lead, when LGD had better objective setup, but all of a sudden it's AL in that position, but it's later stage of the game. When LGD had this kind of gold lead, it might have been maybe 5 or 7 minutes ago compared to this, but now AL has this at about the 25-minute mark. They're just going to come online at these perfect spike opportunities, and LGD is extremely weak. They do perhaps spot him out here. He's on a crazy side quest, is Tarzan, but he's got a GA. The world is really his. He can do whatever he wants now.
This guy is just having fun, man. He's like, where can I find somebody that they don't expect me to be? And honestly, on 3 items with a GA, do it. Have fun with it. Find some wacky angles, because that's all he's been able to do, and it's honestly worked out for AL so far in this series, and especially in this game, being able to use the vision to his advantage. LGD do move out some defense into the top side, try to defend this wave push by Tangyuan, but I don't know if the map presence is going to hold. AL moving back in to clear out some of the vision around Baron Pit.
This is just an example of what makes these high-level pro players the best at their game, and it's their ability to discern what is and isn't seen by the enemy. Tarzan is able to navigate the fog of war and that line in the sand where he's able to get these flanks and unexpected plays just about as good as anybody else in the world. If you're able to know if they see you or not, what kind of mind games you're playing, where you can and can't be, this is how you capitalize.
Look at the flank. Look at the flank. He's still level 7, by the way. He is so low in levels, but all he is an engaged bot. And maybe that's just enough for AL. There's the curtain call with the equalizer on top of it. Look at their health bars just getting chunked, but they will not go down. They stand strong for now. AL going to force their hand, though. They're going to move over to the Baron potentially. Yeah, they're just going to start it up.
AL is just pressing the issue. They drop all this damage onto the heads of LGD. That equalizer was putting in so much work from Breathe. And what can they really do? Even after the curtain calls, well, they got no HP left. They got no members.
Oh, they pulled off the Baron. It will reset. So actually, LGD do a really good job of thinking that AL were going to commit to the fight and tried to back away from it. And do end up getting the re-engage there by AL. Heng gonna move in and clear out some of the rest of this vision around the Baron buff, but that is a really nice turn of play from LGD to stop what could have been a nail in the coffin.
So that's definitely going to get them some brownie points here in this game. It's going to give them some opportunities to catch up in this game. They got Tangyuan coming towards a Protobelt and Shaoye coming towards a Spear of Shojin. Once they get these 3 item spikes online for their carries, that will definitely enable them to have a higher chance of doing well in these fights, where Tarzan's got the 3 items, Shanks does as well, Helps Bean had that, and so it's just so hard for them to contest without having those spikes of their own.
Hopefully it'll come around the corner here for them. I mean, 3 item spike on Corki will feel really good, but Shaoye not there just yet. Timer is ticking. Could be a soul point there for either side. I think Dragon number 3 on an Infernal Dragon provides you so much decision-making power on the map. That's something I know both teams are going to be gunning for. But any picks, any advantages before the fight could just make the 5-on-5 completely null. And it can be very difficult for LGD to enter some of these fights. But as you said, some options potentially coming online for them. Still, though, very close to that 3 item spike, but they haven't reached it just yet. And it doesn't seem like they're going to have the time to do so.
We got some 3 item spikes coming in here for the Trundle, for example. Got the Spirit Visage. I'm pretty sure I saw as well for the other side that it was the Rumble has the Zonias. I mean, this Victor is still quite weak, not being close to 3 items. And there's so much fog war, there's so much danger.
The flourish. Shanks was just waiting. Shanks was just waiting. And Petrifying Gaze isn't even going to be used yet. He's going to hold on to it, just like Medusa the Predator. That's going to be Chris coming in to try to delay the inevitable, but his death will come quick and swift. Anyone's legend moves straight to the Baron.
they're just so decisive, and they just do so much damage that when they do decide to kill you. And that is AL working as a magic team here, doing the impossible any given time. You can't put these guys behind because they always find a way to work together and to synergize, and this is why they're one of the best teams in the LPL. They're going to get the Baron, they're almost definitely going to get the Dragon, and this means LGD is left with nothing.
We're going to take a look back at that replay as well, the initial potential fight, but really Shanks just navigating this so well, threatening the potential to petrifying gaze, scaring LGD the entire time, but honestly just being there to layer down damage.
Shanks coming in from the right side, and he's in such an ideal position to put out all the damage you speak of in this fight. He's just melting their health bars. I tell you, this Casio champion just does wonders for the DPM charts, and this is why they're in a good position here now. They got the 2 Drakes, they got some Tarzan ulting in.
Oh my god, Tarzan is about to try to fight a solo on a Heng. He's going to be in some trouble now, though. GA is going to be popped. Shanks almost dies to Tangyuan's Arcane Storm. Equalizer coming in on the choke point. Oh my god, LGD are cooking. They are frying alive. It is like watching them be put into an oven, and AL are baking up something good.
Yeah, and Burdol gets nothing on the exit either. They're just left running to their fountain, hopeless. Burdol and Tangyuan, I don't even know what they can do here to keep up with this really beautiful bait here from Tarzan. I thought that was so clever. He just goes in there, and look at how he gives Breed the alley-oop of a lifetime to just lay out the red carpet with all those damage items he's got on the Rumble. That's just going to melt through your health bar, and therefore your towers and Nexus right after.
That might have been one of the most beautiful Rumble ults. Just set up by the terrain around him, and LGD could do nothing but watch their health bars tick by tick go down, and that's a very unfortunate position to be in. Now Dragon will fall to AL. They got the Baron, they got the Grubs, they got the Rift Herald, they've gotten 3 Dragons. It feels like they can do nothing wrong. Almost 10,000 gold up now and continuing to bolster their lead.
And LGD can't even chase any recalls or any tempo from the side of anyone's Legend. Hope coming in with the 1k bounty on his head. He's got an entire infinity edge over the likes of Shaoye. Sitting here pretty level 17 on this Jhin he is. He's literally 3 levels ahead of his opposition. 4,000 gold up practically. He just does so much damage on this Jhin with the rest of his lineup in huge leads of their own. It's all coming up the side of AL.
It is indeed, and it felt like ever since that about 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark in game number 1, AL have not looked back. Again, this is the second viewing of this matchup between the 2 teams, and it might just end up being a deja vu on the series score. It was a 2-0 last time, and AL are looking to make it a 2-0 this time too. Cease to desist connects, but Hope just takes him down before the spell even hits. Tarzan goes into the base with the paired up minions, and they are looking for the final push. AL lost to WE 2-0, and it was so disheartening, but they have bounced back with confidence. The more confident team out of the 2 here tonight, and AL will bounce into a 1-win streak here with a 2-0 over LGD.
The script repeats itself. The underdog shows promise in the first game, but the favorite, the Titan, anyone's Legend, ours tonight, was able to come out on top in a legendary performance versus the likes of those LGD Gaming members. And we bow and we take our respects to the 1-7 it is now, likes of LGD. I think we're looking at 6-2 for the side of anyone's Legend in the sets, pretty much making their way towards where I project them to be at first and last place.
Love to see some smiles from Hope and crew as they take a pretty dominant win, and got to give some heaps and heaps of praise to Tarzan for this series. I know Shanks got MVP in game number 1. Shanks might even damn well get MVP for game number 2, but there is the driver in the car that I absolutely want to see get rewarded for it. It's Tarzan. He's had an incredible split so far, incredible year for the most part, but specifically been turning it on some of these carry picks, as well as like the Vi we saw today against LGD.
He is so proactive and so clean and practiced on these champions. He's one of the best in the world. He's just world class, really, on these picks. And you love to see Tarzan in his prime, in his element tonight, really earning himself some of these MVP level performances and highlights that we're making of it.
And I do believe, huge shout out to Shivam, we got our standings updated. So while they're doing the interview and hopefully getting back to the stats here soon, we could go ahead and bring that one up and talk a little bit about the standings here, Fools.
Yeah, take a look at this now. We got AL sitting still in the 3rd place, but with the 6 wins, 2 losses series score, it's pretty difficult to keep up with the likes of TES or BLG, but they've still got to complete the round robin once over again, which means AL is going to have their shot at redemption against these teams. It's really in their hands if they want to get that first spot, and I absolutely think they've got the potential to do so. And my personal favorite when I look at these standings and the narratives of what we have going on here is that we just got WE chilling there in the very top 3rd of the LPL. We're sitting 4th place and pretty here for Team WE, whereas this team has not been able to say that quite the same story as of last split. So that really goes to show you here in the LPL that growth is possible. Any of these teams right now that look like they're on cold streaks or in, tough positions, it is doable for them to come back, especially as LGD and EDG. You have some room to grow because you're in Group Ascent. You can come 7th or 8th and still have a chance to play up against those top 2 Group Nirvana contenders. It's just if as Weibo or LNG, you want to be a bit careful because you could just get eliminated from the LPL with no chance for playoffs at all.
It's a tough position to be in there, but give shout outs to AL making the run to that upper echelon. I know I put them at 3rd in the, I guess, end of regular season predictions that we did have, but I think they could still continue to live up to that expectation, see if they can barrel their way down into the playoffs themselves. But honestly, I think with a performance like this and wondering what the hell happened against WE, you just wonder what those fluctuations bring, but it's nice to see them back in form tonight. For LGD, there's still a lot of games. We could still talk about that, but I just have to say, it's getting harder to believe that LGD can end 6th.
Yeah, it is. We're getting really hard. That last spot of the top 6, it's really hard to sneak into there, and it kind of seems like LGD and EDG are the teams that are bound to be in that 7th, 8th spot based on the results we've seen from tonight and from the matches previously so far in Split 3. So we want to see a bit more coming out from the likes of LGD. And again, we saw life in the first game, so it's better than nothing.
Yo, Hope, second most damage on the team? Yo,
just like that. Just
the
like that.
Jin. Okay. Well, I'm saying, respect the Jin. All right, respect the Jin.
I'm telling you, man.
Feels really awful for Shaoye because I'll just say they put all the resources to try to take down Hope in the early game. They dove him twice. He came away with kills both times, it felt like, and Shaoye ended up 0-5 on the Corki.
Yeah, Shaoye on the Corki just didn't quite look in his element. That's not really his comfort zone, so to speak. I really, like I said, think he's just so good on the Draven. I don't think my lore is too out of date. He's just been someone who's been known on the Super server to run really good on his Draven picks. That's kind of how he's known for, the traditional marksman. The meta right now has been really hit or miss for some of these players where you don't know if that's going to be something that they're going to be able to transition to. Is the likes of the Syndra, the Victor, the bot laners that are just these mages now, the Ziggs for the Camille, etc. And for Shaoye on the Corki, he just didn't get anything done compared to how much damage Hope was doing.
And these equalizers from Breathe were actually insane. I hope we get a replay of that last one, because I've never seen a team so stuck in between 2 walls. Usually you have flash, you have some kind of mobility, but they just didn't have it. And this was the solo kill from Tarzan.
This is just a solo kill like that. Yeah, how did he do this? Like, there's a blast cone. It's just an best ever survive, but no, he just pulls up. He's got
sidestep
assist. Look at how well played that is from Tarzan. That's just micro at its finest.
Dude, the sidestep on the public execution, man. We could make so many funny edits of that, because it's just one of those things that Burdol's like hoping and praying that hits, but it just doesn't. And then you just stand there and watch your health bar go down. Unfortunate, and it just was the beginning of the end. Here is that equalizer, I do believe, pinning
this.
everybody around.
Yeah, you go in deep here as Tarzan. You're wondering, what the heck's this guy doing? He goes into the GA. Look at Breed
Oh, man.
from over top. Where can you even run as LGD? You may as well have just equalized your way into an extra series win, into a Nexus all the way in your back pocket. That might be one of the greatest Rumble equalizers I've seen all year. I tell you, I really mean that.
So who do you give MVP and who do you give player of the series?
I mean, I did just watch that equalizer, so it's kind of hard not to remember it. But based on the overall performances, Shanks was looking real good on that castle. Hope had the 4K gold lead. Oh man, this is really tough. But Tarzan always playmaking on the Vi. I just want to give it to Tarzan. Can I please give it to Tarzan? We didn't give him to him last series, right? Or last match, right? It was the Shanks.
Yeah.
Give Tarzan this time then. It should work like that.
What about series?
Full series. I mean, you could do Shanks, you really could. You could do Tarzan as well. I think I would just go one of those two. I would say this mid jungle is really good together. Shanks is just such a threat, and Tarzan is just everywhere.
Oh, look at that. Kael has 200 total victories in his couple years here in the LPL, obviously coming over as a transfer from the LCK in 2024. And together, I mean, the team has been together for a long time. But Hope and Kael were a couple of the first pieces to really make things stand here, with Shanks obviously as well. But really nice to see from anyone's legend there. And, you know, marking some accolades for themselves as they move through the regular season.
Yeah, Kael's been overseas here in China, playing in the LPL for so long now that he's able to have that many games under his belt. That's actually just really cool to think that he's made his bit of a home here alongside Hope.
Wow.
Look at that. It is Shanks after all.
2 back-to-back MVPs for the game. Now you got to think, does he just get play of the series too?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, probably, because he's just the person who's been voted the most for the performances. He's got the most recognition after all that. I'd be curious to see how many votes are split between him and Tarzan, you know, because I know they got all kinds of voting there. They got like the analyst desk, they push it, the summoners even get a vote, and the AI votes and stuff like that. So you don't even know who's coming up with these answers at the end of the day. I think it said 59%. Vote rate or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, really well played from the mid jungle, from AL overall. That's anyone's legend, man.
Shout out Shivam. 6 of 8 votes there for Shanks. Fools, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to be sticking around for the next series, but want to give you one last gasp effort. Anything you want to say before you get going? Yeah,
it's just that Bulldog's the GOAT and EDG is going to be winning Worlds. So I know we didn't watch them tonight. I know you see them. You'll keep watching the show. They'll keep showing up at the group ascent, bottom of the standings. Just remember what WE did last split. That is exactly what Bulldog and his crew alongside JJ is planning down there at the bottom of the group ascent. But they're going to first have to make their way through teams like this with Shanks on his signature picks. However, letting this guy have Orianna and Cassio. Mazel did not really paint it out for us in the draft. We can't give him his signature picks, and that's exactly what he got. And 2 MVPs. 2 MVPs, Mazel. True. That was just easy as that. Simple, easy does it for the side of AL.
I'll just say, Fools, never change with your crazy takes. I'm always here for them. It's always fun. Thank you so much for joining me, man. It was a bit of pleasure. We're going to bid us adieu for now. I'm going to be coming back for the next series with K-Man.